I'm Katie Neal. Welcome to Odyssey Country on the Record. Blake Shelton is with me to go track by track through his new album for recreational use only. Available everywhere now. Blake will share what inspired these new songs and the stories behind the music. All right, Blake, the first song on for recreational use only is Stay Country or Die Tryin'.
First time I ever heard Stay Country or Die Tryin', man, it took me back to the first time I'd ever heard Old Red, or the first time I'd ever heard God's Country. It's just one of those, it's a little bit southern rock, but it's also got all the country elements in it too, and it lands right in that sweet spot of this unique thing that's almost like an anthem. It's got so much energy in it and tons of little catchphrases and things that we say out in the country and rednecks like me say, that I just absolutely fell in love with the song. And as much as I love and am proud of this recording we did of it, man, I love singing it live even more. So hopefully at some point you guys can come catch us in concert and we'll sing it for you.
This is On the Record, starring Blake Shelton, playing all the songs from his new album for recreational use only.
Texas is a very unique song for me anyway, and just the overall feel of the song. And when you've been doing it as long as I have, it starts getting tough to find new lanes to get in musically, but Texas is definitely one of those songs. If I ever had to compare it to anything, I would say from a feel standpoint, it always reminded me a little bit of Trace Atkins' Thinking Thing. But it's really not anything like that as far as the content of the song goes. It's basically a song about a guy whose girl just absolutely up and left him and didn't say where she was going. And so the only thing he really has to go on is he's a country music fan, and George Strait said all his exes ended up down in Texas. And that's really the gist of the song. It's meant to just be fun and kind of a jam, and that's how it's been received. People just hear the song and they have a smile. When we perform this thing live, it literally lights the room up because people love to sing along with this thing and rock out to it.
Katie Neal here with Blake Shelton on the record, playing the songs and telling the stories behind the music of Blake's new album for recreational use only, available now. All right, Blake, so the next song is Hanging On. How cool is it to have Gwen on a song again?
You know, I've gotten to a point now that I'm not really interested in making an album without having at least one song with my wife Gwen on it. I mean, how lucky am I to have Gwen Stefani want to collaborate with me on music, and I would be an absolute moron not to take advantage of that. So I'm always looking, or we're always trying to write something, and Hanging On is a strong contender overall for this album. I mean, it's just one of those songs you hear it and it's just got so much energy in that chorus. And, you know, even though it is a breakup song about two people who just can't let go of each other, that part's not really relatable for Gwen and I, but we love to step into those roles and sing these kind of lyrics to each other, and because we're huge fans of great songs. And Charles Kelly is actually a co-writer on this song from Lady A. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, so when he sent this song over, I thought, man, we better give this thing a listen, because if anybody knows how to write a duet, it's that guy. So I'm super proud to have been given this song by Charles, and I'm super proud that Gwen wanted to lean in on this thing and do a full-blown country duet with me, and I'm just really proud of this recording. So it's called Hanging On, featuring Gwen Stefani.
Katie Neal here with Blake Shelton, playing every song from his new album for recreational use only, available now. Blake, so this song Strangers is really not that new, right?
Strangers is one of the older songs that we had recorded actually a few years ago, whenever I was just floating around trying to decide what I wanted to do for my next album and when I was going to do it. And actually Hardy sent this song over to me, and I think it's probably leans a little bit out of his lane of the kind of country music he does, and he knew it landed squarely in what I do. You know, this kind of has that same feel that Drink On It had, or some of the more romantic, laid-back love songs that I've had over the years that are just about, you know, hooking up and hanging out, you know. And Strangers is about these two people that had just met in a bar, but they had this instant attraction to each other, and just can't believe that just yesterday they were strangers, because this is how in love and into each other they are now. I think it's the kind of song that people have come to expect when they get one of my records. One of the more powerful lyrics of my career, I think, has to be Let 'Em In Anyway. This is another Hardy song that he sent over to me, and wow. I mean, just wow is really all I know to say about this thing. The first time I heard it, I mean, my jaw hit the floor. It's such a well-written song, but even more than that to me is I feel like this is a song that's never been written before, and that's getting harder and harder and harder to find in music overall. I mean, if you think of the thousands of songs that are written every day and released, it's hard to find something that's never been said before, but I really feel like, at least for me, I've never heard a lyric that tackled this subject before, and it's just so powerful. And there's really not a lot you can say about it. You just want people to hear it. So if you've lost anybody, there's no way this song's not going to hit you hard, because we all think about what happens to us when we're gone. We all wonder what happens to people that we love when they're gone.
Blake, you didn't originally have Craig Morgan singing with you on this next song, Heaven Sweet Home.
I recorded Heaven Sweet Home maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It's been a long time that I've had this thing recorded, and I just loved the song, and I thought it was really special, and I was at a point in my career where I just didn't feel like I had sure footing in country music, and I wanted to be sure that everything was exactly right before I put this song on a record, if I could get away with that. And that's exactly what I did. I cut it, and then I hung on to it for years, waiting until hopefully I had the kind of momentum and the team around me and situation where I felt like this song was going to get the opportunity that it deserved. And then once I signed with my new record label, man, I called Craig Morgan and I said, hey, buddy, I need you to hop on this song with me if you can. And so I sent it over to him, and, he replied back instantly, absolutely, I'll get in the studio. And I think he answered me before he had even heard the song. And once he heard the song, man, he called me and he was flipping out over it. He said, man, this song is a smash. And of course, I don't know what a smash is anymore, and I'm not sure he does either, but we know what it means to us. It's just one of those songs that just jumps out, and it's a song about having faith and knowing you believe where you're headed when you're gone, and you're not afraid of that day.
I'm Katie Neal on the record with Blake Shelton, playing the tracks from his new album for recreational use only on Odyssey Country.
Life's been coming too fast. That's pretty much it. It says it right there in the title. This is a song about a guy who's just had his butt kicked. He used to be the kind of guy that you couldn't throw enough stuff at him. And the older he gets, the less he's able to dodge the bullets that are coming at him. And it's just a fun song. It's literally all it is just one of those end of the work week kind of songs that you want to hear and just have a beer and relax and party. That's it. This is country music 101 right here. So y'all crank it up and enjoy it. Don't Mississippi is one of the more clever lyrics that I've heard in a long time. I mean, I don't know how the hell these guys came up with this, but when I heard it, I had to rewind it and go back again and go back again and go, are they saying what I think they're saying? Don't miss a sip. And then they put sippy at the end of it, but I had never heard this phrase before. And again, I say it over and over again. I'm always looking for something new and a different take on different kinds of songs. And I just thought this thing was so clever. There's nothing better than a country music drinking song. This song will absolutely encourage you to drink your face off. Go throw your car keys in the drawer somewhere and crank this up and have a drink.
On the Record continues on Odyssey Country with the stories behind the music from Blake's new album for recreational use only. I'm Katie Neal with Blake Shelton. All My Love. This is a collab with the Swan Brothers. Tell us about this one.
I've been friends with the Swan Brothers now for over 10 years since they were on my team on The Voice, maybe 12 years or something since they were on season 4 of The Voice. These guys are from Oklahoma, and we had an instant bond and friendship when they were contestants on my team on The Voice back then, and we've just stayed in touch ever since. And they sent this song over to me and wasn't finished yet, and so I ended up writing the bridge for this song, and I've absolutely loved the song. I try to put some kind of a wedding type song on every one of my albums just because I think that's got such a prominent place in country music, and it seems like we don't hear as many of those songs anymore. And I'm guilty of it too. We've kind of gotten away from that part of country music that was so prominent back in the 80s and 90s. So I try to keep one of those things on my album every time, and so I love this song. leans into Gwen and I about the fact that, we didn't really meet each other until later on in life. And we wish we could go back and have met each other, back in our 20s and had a total lifetime together. But that's not how things work out. But that's really how the song goes and what we're singing about in the song. So I'm really proud of this, and I'm proud to be a writer on it.
Katie Neal and Blake Shelton here playing back the songs from Blake's new album for recreational use only, which is available now.
Cold Can is straight up working man, hard week, end of the week, beer drinking song. That's what this is, man. This is country music to the core. And it's probably the hardest rocking country music song I've cut in a long time. I mean, I remember there was a couple of times in the studio that it was like I had to kind of get on my soapbox and say, hey guys, let's back it down just a little bit. This is getting a little bit rowdy in here, And of course the musicians weren't listening to me at all, and I'm glad they didn't, because I mean, this thing absolutely kicks ass, and it's going to be hard to cover this thing live for us. It's such a powerful recording. It's nothing more than just a party. This is my friends in low places. Y'all crank it up.
Blake, The Keys is a really sentimental song for you.
I'm not the kind of guy that hangs on to a lot of things as far as memorabilia goes, but there's one thing that I am guilty of, and that's not throwing away keys when I don't need them anymore, whether it's an old apartment key or a truck or a master lock or whatever. And I don't know if it's what it is about throwing away keys. I hang on to them. I've got way too many on my key rings. And this song, The Keys, couldn't be more spot on for me. It's about literally what I just said, a guy who's hung on to these keys and what each one of them represents in his life, a moment that happened or a place that he went. And if you've grown up the way I have and kind of bounced around and my journey along the way, I don't know, how many different places I've lived along the way, but I probably still have the key to every one of my apartments and houses and things like that along the way. And so this song absolutely hit home for me. And I love the melody too. The melody is so unique to this song, and I'm a big melody guy. Just listen to this song and listen to the story, and I really love the ending of this song too.
Blake, this final track is one called Years with John Anderson.
John Anderson is one of my all-time heroes, not just in music, but just people. I always wish everybody someday would get the chance to meet and talk to John Anderson, because he's exactly the guy that you hope he is, that he seems like he would be. He's the sweetest person on the planet. And my God, he's so talented. A few years ago, it was actually during COVID, I had recorded a duet with John called Tuesday I'll Be Gone. And it was on his album that he was releasing, and his album was called Years. And so I got a copy of his album, and Years was on his album. And I absolutely fell in love with that song. I thought it was just a brilliant piece of work. And so when COVID came, it kind of squashed John's album release. It really messed things up for everybody, really. But, I was being a part of that album and watching it and knowing that we had some things lined up for television and stuff that just never happened. I always felt like Years never really got its due, and it never got the attention that it deserved. And so I decided if I was ever going to make another record again, I wanted to cut Years for my record and have John on that song with me. And so that's exactly what I did. My version it's quite a bit different than what John did. There was no way I was going to try to top John's version, so I just decided to do something totally different. If you listen all the way to the end of this, you'll hear John come in and do a speaking part on the song with his big, deep voice, and it's just super powerful, I think. I absolutely love this song.
Thanks for listening to Odyssey Country on the Record, and for all the songs from Blake's new album for recreational use only. Available now wherever you buy music.